So I am waiting to see who all signs on, who comes along. So we're just going to give it a minute just to preview. It is early, but I will see if anybody is going to check in. While I am doing that, I am currently posting about Frederick Douglass. Apparently, some people didn't know that he was one of the original F boys. He's like an OG Dusty. And apparently, from yesterday, I learned that some people didn't know that he was an original Dusty, but that's okay because I am good for sharing this information. um, but yeah, history is so male dominated. Oh, here she is. Okay. Hey,
Hey.
cool. So, how are you doing?
I'm good. Let me just show you where I am. It's like it's really random, but um I'm having a lot of problems at home with my Wi-Fi, so I was like, okay, I'll just go somewhere pretty to do this.
All right,
So,
cool. So, before I got on the phone with you, and I know that you talk about fairy tales a lot, and we talk about
yeah.
you talk about all this. Yesterday I made a post about Frederick Douglass, and I called him Freddie D, the original F boy, because he was of an F boy. And some people didn't know the history of Frederick Douglass being an audacious Ashy, one of the OGs. Are you aware of his history of gallivanting and being audacious and a dusty?
I don't know the whole full history, but I mean, I've learned from Black women on TikTok more of the history, and I was like, "Oh man, that's a shame." I'm like, "Well."
No, but though, and this could just be part of how we talk. History, stories, media is all male dominated.
Yeah,
So when we hear history, it's from the male perspective. And this
exactly.
dude was out here writing all these books or whatnot. But without his first wife, Anna, he wouldn't be anybody. He wouldn't be there. But
Yeah.
the work of his first wife, to help him escape slavery and provide a home. She had to be like one of the original married single women. He dropped all these
Yeah.
babies in her. Then he's going around being important, giving
Mhm.
speeches, gallivanting the globe, and she's a married single mother who still has to work to provide. And then he brings women up into her home that she created.
Really? He did that?
Yeah,
Oh my
he
gosh.
he had 2 side pieces.
Oh.
He had 2 white women side pieces that he brought
Oh
into
my
his
God,
life.
white women. That's even
He
worse. Oh my God.
his second wife was a white woman that he married soon after Anna died. Yeah, history, yeah,
Yeah,
it's
and it's also funny because you know, he's a name, he's a household name, right? I don't know her name, but he's only who he is because of her. I'm
yeah, and
sure.
oh, I'm sorry, I needed to say her name because we have got to say these women's name. Her
Yeah.
name was Anna Bailey before she
Okay.
got married. Anna Bailey, and she became Anna Douglas. But without her, he would be nothing.
Mhm.
And we as women have to like honor more women because without us, supporting the kids, ironing the clothes, putting out the lunches, all this stuff, what are they, they can't go out and give their important speeches and all the things that they
Mhm.
do without the efforts of women.
Yeah, I remember also, I swear I've learned more. I have a history degree and I've learned more on TikTok in the last just year alone, much less 2 years, about history that was not taught to me in as a history. I mean, as getting a degree in history, and one of the things was Marx. When I find out that, like, people always like, "Oh my God, Karl Marx." Yeah, okay, but when I found out his wife, or women are the reason why he had all of his success, like every single man that we find out about, that's like, "Woo, look at him." It's
Right,
only because of a woman. A woman
right.
is literally what he got him to be that, and that we don't ever know her name. We never know
No.
her name or all the crap that he did to her. You know what I mean? Yeah, these married single moms, they've been around for a long time. I can't believe we're just now talking about it, you know?
Right. And we're talking about it because media is expensive. You know that media is expensive. You're a journalist. You know what? I'm
Mhm.
sorry to all of the people that are on this post. This is Melanie Hamlet. She
Oh.
is a firecracker that I found on TikTok. She is an absolute firecracker, y'all. And before we really get started, um, thou shall move on. What's the problem with the sound? What can't you hear? Um, thou shall
Is it
move
me?
on. Please expound on that question. Can you hear me?
I can hear
Oh,
you. Yeah. Is there a problem with
okay.
the sound? Or so I can't see the comments. I don't know if it's
Thou
so.
shall move on. Thou shall move on just said sound with the question mark. Okay, she said never mind, it was her. Okay,
Okay.
before I go on, I want you guys to know Melanie because
Mhm.
obviously me and Melanie can talk. Both of us can talk about whatever. We can riff. She is a child-free woman who's married. She's had a crazy life. She's out there living in France right now. And I just want you guys, if you guys would go ahead and support her on her YouTube. She is a firecracker. And yes, I mean, what I like about TikTok is that you get out of your bubble. You know,
Mhm.
you get to see how other races, cultures, age, disabilities, abilities,
Yep.
all that, how people are living. And you see that the situation of women, despite all that across the board, is
Mhm.
similar. We talk about
Mhm.
similar things. And I'm bringing Melanie to my page because she is a firecracker and she's willing to learn from us and she's willing to give a perspective. So go ahead if you want to say something about yourself before we get this party started, and then we can just talk.
Well, I actually, anything I do say about myself, I think is that kind of hitting on what you're just talking about, though, is like, I mean, I am a journalist, but I'm self-taught. I didn't go to, I don't have like an Ivy League journalism degree. I do have a history degree, but I kind of had to figure out how to break into it. In the comedy world in New York, I moved to New York to do that, and it's male dominated, and it's usually mostly white cishet white men who dominate that world. And TikTok is what has kind of democratized comedy. It's kind of democratized everything because men control the narrative of everything. I also lived in LA for a while and took screenwriting classes, and so I loved like writing story. I mean, I love storytelling. And now that I'm deconstructing, and I think you like some of the content that I've done about deconstructing these stories written by men because all they're doing is indoctrinating us. And someone left, and I hope she's on here right now. She left a comment, but I was talking about, I don't know, it was Breaking Bad or one of these things, and she mentioned Inception, which is like, I don't know if you've seen Inception, but what her comment, this is what I love, is like, I'm not only sharing what I'm learning, but the comment section.
Yes.
You talk about it all the time. I learned so much from the people who are commenting, and this one paragraph about Inception blew my mind open. And then I talked to my husband about it too, because we used to love that movie. Now I'm like, oh my God, it's literally the message is women are crazy and they make up false allegations about domestic violence because everything is like
Yes.
it almost made me ill. It made me sick, because I loved these movies and all they are doing was brainwashed me into this narrative because it's all men writing it. It's always, and it's white men, right?
Yes.
And so and it's able-bodied and it's cishet and all of the most powerful people are writing all the
Right.
stories, and I've just now started to understand how much most of the people have been left out of the storytelling, and this is why I love YouTube and TikTok, is
Yes.
because all of these people are we're educating each other. People who follow me educate me as much as I'm educating them, if not more.
Right.
And from other creators, I learned so much from your page. I love that video I stitched of yours yesterday on TikTok where it was like, yes, like stop pouring into people who don't give a crap about you. They're not pouring back into you, and you just end up a shell of a person and resentful. And then I can't show up for anyone in my life if I'm bitter and empty and broken and hate myself, right? So,
It's So, with that being said, it makes me so sad the narratives men paint of women.
mhm,
Like when we get married and we become busy because we are working, we're being a mom, growing babies and healing from growing babies is hard
mhm.
work. Breastfeeding is hard work. Each kid that had, I breastfed for 2 years. So you go through one
Oh my
year
god,
of
I can't
building the
imagine that.
baby and then
Yeah.
2 years of like nurturing this person that you want to grow up and walk and
Mhm,
this is hard work. So the women that have them back to back and still have to go to work, you still have to wash dishes and eat and like shower. And then you get hit with you've gained weight, or
mhm.
you're not doing what you used to do, or why haven't you washed up the dishes? And it's just like, is there any reason? I mean, is it any wonder that women are stressed, adding belly fat, you know,
Mhm.
being like you were talking about being, inundated with autoimmune diseases or whatever. Is there
Yeah.
any wonder that more of
Yeah.
us are not just dropping dead in our 40s or
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Actually, that's something that there's so many things I wanna talk about. Like, yeah, my page is so ADHD. It's like this and then we're that, you know. But that's one of the things that I realized actually from being a domestic violence survivor and, childhood SA is that this stuff has even if there's no physical violence, it kills us. It kills us because when I was in that violent relationship, my throat, I had to go to the emergent. My throat started like your body is literally it's falling apart. And I have one of my friends right now. She has an autoimmune disorder, and I am fully convinced it's her husband. I know it's her husband that caused it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, "God, they're making us sick." This is why we also have to stop doing this because and women, we're educating each other on this, you know what I mean?
yes.
That it's like we're finding real community here and truthful storytelling about our lived experience versus men just being like, "Everything they say is projection. Everything they say is projection." The same thing white people, everything we say, that's like, it's always like what we're doing, right? Like
Right. You know what's also interesting? The fact that they get to speak on us, like when they talk
Yeah,
about Black women, they're
yeah.
like, we're so masculine, we're so angry, and they say
Mhm.
all this stuff about us. We Black women don't support ourselves, we don't have friends, we don't know how to. And I'm like, that's not my experience. That's
Yeah.
not who I know. I have been a Black woman for a while.
Mhm.
And all of the women that I know who have brought me up and poured into me have been Black women mostly.
Mhm.
Women in general, but Black
Yeah.
women specifically. And I don't recognize these people that you hear about on these social media discourses.
Yeah.
So that is the
Yeah, it's like,
reason
"Who
why,
are you talking about?"
like,
Sorry to
like,
interrupt.
yeah, so it's like, that's the reason why telling our stories, at first when I got to social media, I would be sharing men's craziness, but then it's just like, no, we need to shift the focus. That's the
Yeah.
reason why I connect with so many women
Yeah.
and share women's stories on my pages
Yeah. Well, plus
from all walks of
as
life.
you've experienced personally is these, especially with TikTok is first of all, I don't wanna center men any more than they've already been centered, right? So it's like, the only time I talk about men a lot in order to educate and so that to empower women to see what's happening in their lives, and maybe men, if they are open to learning, like, what they need to work on, but most of them don't wanna learn, honestly. But, as you've seen that, like, I block thank you for teaching me how to block on YouTube because I really couldn't figure it out. And those people that now I'm like, as soon as they leave some crap on my page, I'm like, you're done. You don't get access to me. Like, that's it. Bye. You don't get to be a part of my party because what happens is they like with your TikTok account, them like attacking it, and then you lose your platform, you lose money. Like it causes you a lot of harm. And so for me, like I think I'm on the same page. I'd rather appreciate and the voices of women or people who are trying to add to the conversation rather than just hate. There's so much hate that they
Yeah.
love spewing on our page, and it's exhausting, you know?
And even when they are not spewing hatred, they
Mhm.
are just trying to dominate the discourse.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
you speak to something, and then they're like, "Well, why don't you talk about how it impacts men?" Or,
Exactly,
they
yeah.
like, "Why are you in a woman's space asking me to advocate for you? Like,
Yeah,
go create something yourself."
exactly.
They still even random men who don't know us want our labor. Like,
I
who are
know,
you,
I know.
random man on the internet, to ask me for anybody for anything?
Yeah, yeah, exactly, and that's why I was like, and the thing is, it's really hard to not take the bait, you know, because if they're like, "Nah," and a part of me wants to defend myself because especially for a long time, I couldn't, you know, especially, I saw one of our mutuals, Hope Peddler, on TikTok saying like, it feels kinda nice to kind of, you know, defend yourself online when in person you really can't because you kind of risk being hurt, like harmed, right? But at the same time, like, if I actually did that all the time, then my whole page would be me just like defending myself. And then that's
Yes.
exhausting. And I don't feel empowered. I
Yes.
feel like angry. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and as we know that old saying, there's a fine line between like love and hate, but what someone doesn't like is indifference. So ignoring men, they hate that. So I'm like, yeah, I think that's the best approach. I'm just not even going to give them attention. And they can't stand that, especially if they're narcissists, you know?
Yes. Man, there is an acronym called JADE. I need to figure out
Oh,
what the A is, but it's saying don't jade, don't justify yourself.
yeah.
I gotta figure out what the A is.
Mhm.
Don't defend yourself.
Mhm.
Don't I have to figure out the letters.
Would A
It's
be like accept or something, or I don't
no, no, no.
know.
I'm gonna tell you. It's
Okay.
on my Facebook page, because when you go online, and you know what? Go ahead, talk about Cinderella. Um,
Cinderella. Yeah.
I'm gonna figure out what the jade is, and then I'm gonna bring it back. But
Okay, okay.
let
Yeah,
you
so
go ahead.
Cinderella, like well, first of all, when I looked up the history of Cinderella, um, apparently it was written like Disney. Um, well, first of all, when you look at the on Wikipedia, it's all men who are behind that story. Shocker, shocker! This story was created by men. Um, and I'm like, I have a stepmother, and Disney really hates stepmoms. Now, of course, whenever I make this content, women are like, "Well, my stepmother was awful," and I'm like, "Okay, I'm not saying that stepmothers can't suck,
Right,
but one of my friends is a stepmother, and she pours so much love into her stepchild. And Disney has made any woman who's a stepmother or a single mom, or like Ursula, like what's the problem with Ursula? Like, I know that she terrorized the Little Mermaid, but like, wasn't she just like a strong, independent, child free woman? Like, I gotta watch the movie again, and I know that a new
mm,
one just came out, so I gotta watch it. But they hate, like, they literally never make men the monsters, and this prince who's not even cute, doesn't have anything to add. He literally just has money, and they got all these women fighting over him. And
right,
really, and the thing that I realized when I made that video about Cinderella was like, oh my god, that they literally like that it's just like a dude who didn't want to, like, I think his first wife died, so then he gets remarried because God forbid he raise his own child, and then probably the stepmom probably hates Cinderella because she's like burdened with this child she didn't want, and the dad,
right,
someone said the dad probably faked his own death so he could run away, and I was like, oh my god, he probably did. But it's just this idea, like the way they demonize stepmother, like, like, and they kill parents all the time. I don't know why there's dead parents in every Disney movie. They're obsessed with
right,
killing parents. You know what I mean?
right.
Not maybe not the newer ones, but there's always a
Yeah,
dead mom. You know, like what? Where was
right.
Ursa? Where was Ariel's? Would you know the story with Ariel's mom? Where is she? I don't.
That's a
Did they,
good question.
did
You
they ever
know,
tell us?
I don't know, but King Triton seems to be like the philanderer. He got all these mermaid daughters, and they all look different. So he's out here spreading his seed, spreading his mermaid seed to everybody. So who knows?
And he's
She
massive too.
But at least King Triton was an active father. I mean, he was
Yeah.
active sexually as well, obviously, if he got all them daughters.
Yeah. Oh, so I'm actually gonna do a whole series on Beauty and the Beast because I actually wrote an article for like years ago, but I want to write a new one and I really want to do several because this is my least favorite movie. When you go back, it is literally a bunch of weak men and like her dad sucks. Her dad sucks. He's literally like, "No, no, 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 no," just like he's like the crazy inventor. And she's basically parenting her father. So
Right,
I don't know where her mom is, probably dead, like all the Disney moms, you know? And then he's like, he goes into the woods and he doesn't listen the horse, I guess, is like animated and the horse knows where it's going. And he's like, no, I think we should go this way. So they go somewhere and get in trouble because he doesn't listen to women or animals because he's this, the, like the narrative is the same always. Like these men think they know better than literally everything, right? And then he gets trapped by a beast and the beast is like, okay, you're my prisoner. And then the daughter finds him and she's like, no, take me. And he lets her.
right,
What kind of father lets? I mean, he's like, no, don't. But he doesn't really put up a fight. What kind of man lets his daughter be a slave? And we know what kind of slave, you know what I mean? Like she's going to have to sleep with this, like
right,
having a young woman
right,
and a prisoner to this man for the rest of her life. What kind of old man is okay with his daughter being in that situation, right?
right.
And then this beast is so violent. He breaks furniture, all of his little candle lights and teapots and all the people, they're terrified of him. But we're supposed to root for their love story
Yes.
because she tames him. She changes him into a loving man. Like that this story is so problematic. It literally grooms girls to like look for some man that they can be
Oh,
good enough to change.
and
He'll
I
change if you're the right woman.
I'm so
Ugh.
I'm so glad that Disney has moved away from these BS stories because
Yep.
in all of these BS stories, all the man is supposed to do is just show up. Showing up
Yeah.
with a peen is enough. It doesn't matter what the peen is.
Uh-huh.
Like if you're in a body that's a beast or it doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Well, Gaston wasn't enough. He wasn't enough, but showing up, dancing, and then or giving a kiss, and then that is all that the man has to do. But then
Yeah, while
that
she's
is,
asleep.
huh? Right,
While she's asleep, he's kissing her.
right.
You know what I mean? Which is also
but
kind of
but
weird.
we have to do everything after that. After we get
Yeah.
married, after we get married, according to these fairy tales, the man really what does the man have to do? Is he checked
Yeah.
in? Does he have to ever change a diaper? We fight so hard to get to that wedding, but we don't talk about the ever after. And I am so
Mhm.
glad that Disney is pushing away from away from that stuff.
Well, and that's and I actually I swear, like my feminism has gotten is so different now just because of TikTok. And I remember the first time I heard, maybe I don't know, a year ago, someone saying that yeah, for that men are taught that the marriage is the finish line, right? Like okay, done, that's it, and
Right.
and and that is literally like yeah, and someone made me realize that it's like the more like they're obsessed with the wedding, it's like the wedding is like almost her funeral. You know what I mean? Like, because that's like the end of her life as an independent woman who can maybe center herself. Because as soon as she's married to him, he's going to make her center him and the children and literally everything in a traditional marriage, the way we've been sold it. And he doesn't have to do anything to keep her because a lot of men don't think that women will leave them. They really don't. They're shocked that women might eventually get sick of this crap. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, my husband even said that because I was talking about this and he goes, I really think men don't think that women will ever leave. And he was
Right.
like and the ones who think that way are the ones who are going to exploit their wives and not put in effort, not do anything to change and grow. And then those are the ones who are like, I couldn't believe she's so selfish. She just shocked me. Like
Right.
they're
I like
shocked.
I was blindsided. I just
Yeah, they're all blindsided. They
yeah,
always they all say that.
so that's the funny part. It's just like because when women are like, honey, I need you to help out with the dishes. Can you please pick up Johnny? I am going to be on doing this project over here. I need your help over here. And after a while, the woman is just like, calling her friend, can you pick up my child from practice today? I'm doing this.
Mhm.
And then we start working with other women to be the
Yeah.
support system. But and then it's like after a while, they work themselves out of the equation. Like they work
Yeah.
like, now I have my own power drill. I mean, I got a power drill for myself. I don't need to keep asking you for help to
Mhm.
fix that raggedy da 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 over there
Mhm.
because I can do it myself. And so once women wake up to the fact that it's like you're doing 90% of the stuff anyway. So
Mhm.
why do you have to keep asking for help?
Yeah.
One thing, I was talking about don't jade, don't
Yeah.
justify
Oh, yeah, Jade. Yeah, yeah.
jade, don't jade. Women, we do this. When we start
Mhm.
talking to people online, specifically men, and they're like, you're just an overweight single mother.
Mhm.
When someone calls me a single mother or calls me bitter, I just lean into it. You're right. You're right. I just go with it. Like I just
Mhm.
hate you when they say that I hate men. You're right. I don't justify.
Yeah.
I don't argue with these people
But
anymore.
they're
I
not
don't.
gonna listen anyway, you
So
know? They're
Jade is justify, argue, defend, explain. I do
Yep.
not,
That's a
I
good one to
try
remember.
not to try to
Yeah.
explain myself. I am a woman centered space. I shouldn't have
Mhm.
to explain why I'm woman centered. I shouldn't have
Yeah.
to defend my reasoning for all of this stuff. I'm not going to argue with you. I used to argue a lot. I used to, I'd be
Yeah, yeah.
like all that.
Yeah.
But now I'm
Yeah.
like, I have released the urge to give a damn about what
Mhm.
these random people on the net. Why do I care what these people think about me?
Mhm.
You're user 1277346. Who are you? I don't know you.
Yeah,
And
you're like anonymous. Yeah, actually, I wrote an article for the Huffington Post about this because I realized that at the end of the and I think it's like something you maybe learn as you get older too, because the older we get, the more responsibilities we have. We have maybe I don't have kids, but I'm an aunt, and I'm an aunt to not just like my family kids, like to my friends' kids, and aging parents. We just have more. We have less to give. Why am I giving? Like, why am I pouring into these strangers who I don't care about online? When their sole purpose is to break me down and exhaust me. That's the only reason why they're talking, is to exhaust me. And I realized that I'm like if I'm arguing with some dude online while, my and but not making time to hang out with my husband, like what am I doing? Like why am I doing that? Because I love hanging out with my husband, and yet I'm fighting with some dude who doesn't care about me, that I
right,
don't care about. I have no one like what am I doing? And that's where I've started. I always try to yes, I hate that they do this and that they exist, but I'm also responsible for how I react to them
right,
or don't react to them. And that's kind of what, like again, that's how I'm probably going to be deconstructing this crap to the day I die, because it's still my instinct is to give men what they want, attention, even if it's in the form of argument, whatever. I'm still giving them what they want, you
yes.
know?
Because and we have talked about this. I mean, they are not getting the attention since the pandemic. And
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
with work from home,
Yeah.
there are not as many opportunities to talk to women. So the
Yeah.
only attention that they are getting is with us online,
Yeah.
probably. And
Yeah.
if we shut the spigot off, like continue to
Mhm.
turn it off, they need
Yeah.
to, if they want to talk to us, they can talk to us like humans, but they still haven't gathered that they have to respect us and talk to us with some kind of
Mhm.
humanity. And women,
Yeah.
ladies on this post, be okay with blocking them.
Yeah.
Be
Oh, I
okay
love
with block.
blocking men.
If
It's my
you
favorite thing to do.
if you this is my theory. If I wouldn't allow you to come into my home and talk
Yeah.
crazy to me, I'm not going to allow you to do that in my spaces. When I see
Yeah.
men come onto my posts and they're insulting women, I'm
Yeah.
blocking. If you're insulting
Yeah.
me, if you're insulting my husband because he has a strong-willed wife, they don't even know my husband, but they'll
Yeah.
insult him because
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah,
I have
simp,
such
they
a
do that with my husband too.
because
Yep,
I have such a
exactly.
strong personality. So my husband must be like, y'all don't even know my husband.
Thanks.
Right. So
Block that.
where'd you go? What'd you do?
Sorry, my someone was trying to call me.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Do you see me again? Because it feels like
No,
I'm.
I see a black square.
Oh my god. Ah, sorry. I'm here, but you can hear me, right?
I can hear you fine. All right, let's
Okay.
see. I am glad. Yes, please like the post, y'all. I got 64 people on this post and I got 37 likes. So if y'all could go ahead and like the post, that would be great. I appreciate y'all being on here this Saturday morning. Me and hello everybody. Me and Melanie, I don't know where she has gone.
Okay.
Um,
Let me just call. I'm gonna come back in because I don't know why it's got me blocked out. Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine.
Yeah, I don't know why I don't know how to. Hold on. Let me.
Yeah, you can go ahead and try to come.
I'm gonna come back on. Okay. Let me just tap that link again.
Okay,
Is that okay?
that's fine.
Okay, because I can't get this photo to come back on for some reason. It's like a picture of my finger. Okay, hold on one second.
Let's see. Let's see what y'all are talking about in the. So we are here this early because she's in France, and oh, there she is. So
Okay,
she's in
hey.
France. So, you guys, I am a housewife mom, homeschooling mom, content creator, and my children are very, very active and they love being in my content. And whenever I go live, they want to jump into my content, and it's very unproductive once they are awake. So me and Melanie are on Saturday morning because my kids are asleep still
Mhm.
for a little bit. I'm going to have to get off of here in a little bit because
Yeah.
also they have started swim lessons. They're in taekwondo and swim lessons.
Oh,
So
wow.
thank you everybody for supporting my YouTube. Please like the this post. Watch a video or two because that's how I'm paying for these swim lessons, y'all. But when my kids know that I'm making money now from content creation, so they want to jump into the videos. They'll be like mommy's page, subscribe to mommy's page. They're, when Chrissy wants something, she's like, you need to go make a video. My mom will,
Oh my god, she's so smart. She's like, "I really want a new bike." She's like mommy's
right.
page."
But my son is like, buy some merch because I was selling some mugs. Buy some merch from my mom.
Wait, what does your merch say? Do you have like a slogan on it?
I had number one, I have a co-author. Me and my friend are writing a book. The book is called Ashy Men Will Make You Fat, but we have not put out the merch for that. But I put out a run on Teespring for some mugs that said emotional tears.
Oh.
And so I got some I was I can make another link, but yeah, I have a mug that says emotional tears, like I'm drinking the men's tears.
I love that.
But yes. But I was saying all that to say I can be on this live for about an hour. I mean an hour because I after I get off the phone with you, it's gonna be a blur because we gotta get
Yeah, yeah.
everything
And
ready
this
for
is kind
swim
of
lesson.
our first time going live. We can go live in the future, and
I
especially because I
know.
finally, thanks to your help and you telling me how to do it, I have, I can now like monetize and pay some of my bills by doing this. It's funny because for the longest time I've just been doing this stuff, and it never occurred to me that I could get paid or I should get paid, but I spend hours of every day pouring into this, and now I'm like,
Right.
oh, I guess it would be nice because
To get
because when
money.
I'm doing to get money because I'm not writing and making money off of writing when I do this stuff. So yeah, it does. I love doing this, and so I'm
So
glad that like we should go live again in the future. I definitely was happy. I was
uh,
really stoked that you invited me to do this. I really appreciate that.
so I have a question for you.
Yes.
Um It says, "Does Melanie enjoy France better than the US? Is it more fair between the sexes?"
Yeah, so that's an interesting question. I do enjoy France a lot more. In my experience, it's so I think the US in theory is more ahead, like because a lot of French feminists and women here, like they didn't know some of the stuff that we've been talking about for a long time in the US. Like the word gaslighting and certain things I've had to explain to people. So I think, and Me Too, right? It started in the US and then spread around the world. And the way I see it, there's a lot of things, and a lot of these systems in the US are more violent and more extreme. And so, of course, the conversations start in the US. That doesn't mean those problems don't exist somewhere else, but they're not maybe as extreme or they just look different. So I learn a lot from French women because they make men work hard to get their time and attention. Like the men here, like none of them, they don't seem as entitled to me. Like they know that they have to woo me, they have to make effort, they have to win me over. Where a lot of men in the US are just like, just assume that like they have more of a king baby, like I'm the, like you should want me. And I'm like, no, you should want me, And so I do find that the mentality is different. And in general, I find and here the men, they would, when I reject men here, it's not as violent in like on Tinder, for instance. The messages in the US is a lot of men are like, if I'm like, yeah, if I reject them, they're like, well, I hope you get grapes, they're like, you're ugly, you're fat, they're just like, ah. Whereas here, like if I reject them here, they're like send me like a bear waving and like, hey, are you sure? Like they keep, they make they they're just more gentle about it and more like, I don't know. It just doesn't feel as violent in general. And, so I could talk about this forever. I don't want to dominate the conversation with French talk, but I do. I feel like I learn a lot from French women, how they live, in terms of like, or just in how they deal with men. But they learn a lot from me in terms of some of the things that they need to start working on within their relationships that they never thought about because it's not as extreme.
Yeah.
It's when the problems are more glaring,
Yes.
you know, like with
So,
all of the things, right?
yes. And okay, so I have a take on that. Like, I don't believe that Me Too would have been a thing without Trump getting elected.
Yeah.
Because if um if Hillary would have won, it would have
Yeah.
been like things are more equal. Look, a
Oh
woman
yeah,
has
yeah.
won,
It would have
you
been like the
know,
Obama
and
effect where everyone's like,
yes,
see, racism is
right.
fixed,
Right.
and it's like,
And so
no.
when it is glaring,
Yeah.
it's like we need to like this man,
Yeah.
look at how he talks. We need to
Yeah.
address this. We need to address this all. And so
Yeah.
I think that when it is in your face, when it is overtly in your
Yeah.
face,
Yeah.
it's just like when liberal men are I am feminist. I believe in
Oh
equality.
God. Yeah.
But
God, don't get
then
me. I could talk about that forever. They're full of crap. They're like the wolf and the sheep, whatever. I'm like, it's like a frat or like those men. To stay away from them. Where a lot of and like you can see with anyone on the left, it's like they may say something that then you're like, oh, like they show themselves if they get called out or defensive, and so a lot of liberal men I find to be more dangerous than some of these dudes who are like scarier
yeah,
because you can't see it and they won't
yes.
and they're defensive and they won't listen and learn. They're like, yeah, but I'm on your side, and you're like, but you're not listening. You know what I mean? I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, but
For everybody who doesn't know what King Baby is, do you want to tell people what King Baby is?
well, I don't know. It's yeah, I guess so. It's funny. I've just been like saying it for years, and now I guess I didn't realize I was saying it so much until people were like started sending me photos of like anytime they'd see some or like they tag me and they go King Baby. I'm like, oh my god, am I the one who like people are talking about King Baby? Did I do this? But I, it's basically just like what I find to be, I mean, most men are some level of king baby, right? But it's just these entitled men who basically like use their childish, like they exploit women's, the way we've been socialized to be maternal and to caretake them as mothers. They exploit that in their marriages, right? And they just and they're really manipulative, and everything's about their mood. It's basically they're like emotionally stunted, right? And my dad was one. My dad, like, I basically everything I learned about King Baby, I learned from my dad. And then shocker, I ended up dating a few too.
Right,
Like whoa. Until I finally broke that cycle of like of being an enabler of King Babies. But like, yeah,
right.
they throw like when I've dated that violent man, what I realized that everything I did, it was literally like it was like worse than dealing with a child. I carried things around to basically like that, like a pacifier. I had things to manage the baby, right? Manage his moods, manage his
Right.
anger, manage his shame. Everything was managing this man as if he was my child. And I'm 45. I'm child free. I've never had children. I've never wanted children. That's the closest to children I've ever been, is dating a man like that. And I was like, wow, I would actually make a good mom, but I don't want to be one, so I definitely can't have men like this in my life. So I don't know if that is a good description, but that's the fastest one I could kind of get at. Maybe
So,
you could add to it because you know what I'm talking about. Maybe
oh
your
yeah.
description would be
So
better.
someone, Felicia Robinson in the comments said the black ones are Kang baby. I mean Kang, because we pettily call them Kang because they want to be called king. So we just call
Uh,
them Kang.
oh,
And yes, Miss Full Roller, Sarah, I know that Me Too wasn't started with Trump. I know that, but I'm just saying it got pushed into the
yeah.
forefront a lot harder because this overtly misogynistic man got put into office. And I don't think that Me Too would have reignited at
Hmm.
that particular point in time without overtly electing someone as horrible,
Yeah.
horrible as he was. Like he was out there like, I don't worry about consent. I'm gonna
Yeah.
touch. I'm gonna be a baby.
Oh,
He is
he's
the
he's the
ultimate toddler.
epitome. He is the
He is
king
the
baby.
he
He's the
I
king of
see it,
king
I
babies.
want it, I see it, I want it, I grab it. He is
Yeah.
the ultimate king toddler. Like,
Yeah.
it has to be about, because this is what toddlers do. This is what babies do. Babies
Yeah.
need for a survival sake, they cry until they get what they want.
Yeah.
They're hungry, they cry. They want
Yep.
some, they want a cookie, they cry. They need all of your attention. Toddlers and babies are energy suckers. That's what they
Yeah.
do for survival. And these king babies are still perpetual toddlers, where it's
Exactly.
like it has to be about me. Some some women don't breastfeed because their men have seen that, like, you're giving your body to this being,
Oh my
and
God,
that
they're
body is
so
supposed to
jealous
be
of
for me.
their kids. They're so jealous of their kids. Yep. Yeah.
Ooh. So, I mean,
Yeah.
there's so many examples of king baby that I'm
Mhm.
sure that we can talk about, that we've seen, that the
Yeah.
women in the comment section have seen. Like I had a friend who had to leave her husband because he was jealous of the baby being nourished off of a boob. It's like,
Yep. Yep. I mean, actually, so I don't know if you saw was it Pamela Anderson? Yeah, Pamela Anderson, the Baywatch. She did a documentary on for Netflix, and it's really good actually. And there's one point where her husband, who was violent, like Tommy Lee or whatever, like Motley Crue dude guy, he even says, he admits that he was jealous as soon as the children are born. That's when these king babies are like, but I'm the baby. But I'm the baby. I'm supposed to be the most important person in your life, not these people. They're literally jealous of their kids. And what's and so it's like they act like babies and toddlers, and yet at the same time, they are financially powerful, physically powerful, and they have the mentality of a, "Hey, I'm the king, kiss the ring." And that's why they're so dangerous, right?
Yeah.
They're so dangerous because, again, if it's okay when kids act this way because they're just being kids, but when you have an enormous man and then he's violent or just or psychologically violent, because some of these men, they will never touch you, but they break you down at every step mentally and emotionally, and they make you hate yourself, then they're scary and they're dangerous, and that's why, like, yeah, they're everywhere, and Trump is the when people ask me, they're like, they think they ask, especially in Europe, they always want to talk about Trump, and I'm like, please don't make me talk about that man. I can't talk about that man anymore. Plus he's like, that's all he wants is for us to talk about him. And I'm like,
Right.
look, he literally is the epitome of a man. He is the epitome of the worst type of men, and they're everywhere. And there's a reason why he got elected because so many people either were raised by a man like him or married to a man like. That's why a lot of women, especially white women, are just used to Trump. So they're like, yeah, he's just a man. You know, you're like, yeah, but yeah, like, did you hear the bus tape? Like they voted for him, even though he literally admits to groping women. Oh, I'm sorry, I get all riled up when I talk about this.
Okay. All right.
I am
All
a
right.
firecracker. I love that you called me that.
So someone mentioned you on my page. They called you that loudmouth woman, and I
Oh,
I
that's
didn't
endearing.
I they weren't saying it in a bad way, but
Yeah, yeah.
you are loud and seem like you are going out for 4 cups of coffee.
I know,
You
I'm so hyper. I'm like the my husband calls me the tornado rainbow. He's like, "You're just chaos. You're just," and like I'm like the Energizer bunny. But he was
right.
like, "But you spread beauty in your path. It's a great thing, but you are like if, at night he'll be like, "Can you just." He's like, "You're yelling. You're literally like, can you calm down?" Like at 2 a.m. I'm like, "Ah!" Like but I'm also, just so you know, I'm narcoleptic, which makes perfect sense. I have so much energy, but when I crash at random times because it's exhausting to be this hyper all the time.
Man, I am busy all the time. I wake up and it's just like I gotta drink my coffee, I gotta drink my water. I have to read at least 10 pages of a book because I'm constantly
Yeah,
reading.
you
I
read
have to
so
put
much. I
huh?
love it. I wish I read more. You read so much.
Yeah, it's
I
like
admire how much
and
you
I
read.
have to do all of this before these people wake up
Yeah,
because
these
they
people, these
once they
people.
wake up, then I have to do all of the stuff. Like you got to feed them, and it's like
Yeah,
constant motion. You're doing like, okay, now let me go wash this car, and now let
yeah,
me go feed them something. Let me go, and then by the time I get tired, like I'm up. But by the time I shut down, I am gone. There's
yeah,
no more energy. I give
yeah,
all of my energy for the day and then I'm
yeah.
out like a light.
I don't know how you make so much content given that you're taking care of so many people. You know, you're a content machine. You make a lot of content and you read so much. And I'm like, God, like,
Like, how am
I'm
I
like
doing this?
child free. And I'm like, God, I can't keep up with her. She's just nonstop.
Because I try to make these videos in the morning. I've only made one
Okay,
video
yeah,
today, and, like, they'll be doing something, and I know that
yeah,
they're gonna do that something, so I'll make a video while they
yeah,
are
yeah,
doing that something, or they could now that they are old enough to watch a show by themselves,
yeah, yeah.
I can go into the basement and make a quick video or something like that.
See, now that's the kind of the keyboard warriors in the basement that I love. You know, we know men are known for being like in the basement but I love it that you're in the basement making empowering content for women that's educating all of us. I love that.
Yes.
I love your
Mm,
stuff. I love your stuff. Oh, by the
thanks.
way, there's just to go back to what we were talking about before. You and I both. It's funny because I saw yours after I'd already done one. That the New York Times has been doing these series of people writing in, and there was that woman who was like, "My husband is in first class or wants to,"
Yeah.
like. There's a new one out that I just and so I'm waiting for your video on it because I'll probably do a video on it too, of this woman being like, well, it's like some man thinks she's his friend and he's a pretty miserable person to be around and she feels bad so she hangs out with him and the whole thing is literally just like enabling like she and I thought about your video from that I stitched yesterday. I was like, God, we're just so conditioned to just give our time, listen to these people talking to that we even if we don't like them, but they think we're our friend, and we'll be friends with some loser dude because he thinks we're the so check it out because I would love to hear your thoughts on it. But that's just how we're
Absolutely.
conditioned.
If it's New York Times, I do not pay for New York Times. So when we get off of here, if you could screenshot it for me with the
Yeah,
title and everything and send it to me,
yeah.
well, okay.
No, actually,
Um,
but I want to give you a trick really quick because the New York Times, I follow them on Facebook, and with
ah,
these
okay,
posts, they
okay,
include the whole letter in their Facebook post. So I don't even
okay,
read the response of the editor. I don't care. I take that thing and I make my own response. So
okay,
if you go on their Facebook page, but if I remember to,
okay.
I can screenshot it too. But yeah,
No, no, no. I know I do know that trick, but I'm going
hmm
to go do that because you reminded me to do that trick. But it has been amazing having you on my YouTube page this morning, and we will definitely do it
yeah,
again.
let's do it
Um,
again for sure. Thank you
um,
for inviting me.
I have got to get ready to
Yeah, yeah.
launch because my
Yeah,
time as
those
my
people are
free
waking up soon. I love that you
I
call
gotta
them
get
that. That's
I
so
gotta get these people up because swim lessons is about to happen.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Are you guys going to
ladies,
Little Mermaid this weekend?
we're going to see the Little Mermaid. You know, my princess has been asking for it, so
Yeah,
it is going to happen. But we had taekwondo yesterday, swim lessons today. The hubby has Sunday and Monday off, so we're also going to be on the rooftop at the pool. So we have a fun weekend going.
yeah,
um so I don't know when we're going to see the Little Mermaid, but it's
yeah,
going to happen because both kids want to see it. Mommy wants
yeah,
to see it. I don't know if my husband wants to see it, but me and the kids want to see it.
yeah, yeah,
Um, so it's been fun. Y'all, if you guys are on this page, please hit like. I got 74 people on here and I got 64 likes. If y'all could like it to help it get into the algorithm, it will be helpful. And we're gonna do this again because this has been fun.
yeah.
Um
Are you? So do you post? Can you post this video or is it just live?
this
How does that work?
it will be posted. It
Okay.
takes a while for it to process, but
Yeah.
once it gets posted, I will make sure to let you know. I will
Okay.
make sure to let you know. So
Cool.
it's not yeah. And I guess that's about it. Let me see if I can take a
Yeah.
screenshot. Yeah, I got
Wait.
it.
Let me.
Okay, hold on. I'm
Like.
gonna tell you when to smile. And
Okay.
smile so that I can make a thumbnail of the two
Yeah,
of
the
us.
thumbnails help. Those actually make the page look nicer. I learned that from y'all too. I've been trying to figure out this YouTube thing because my TikTok's been my world. But I'm trying to get more on YouTube because I love that people can leave long comments, and I learned a lot about stuff from people's comments.
Right.
So
All right. All right, y'all. I gotta
okay,
get out of here.
okay, bye.
Um,
Thanks for having me, and I'll see you soon.
all right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.